Whispers from the coup's grave. What if the ghosts of a betrayed democracy never truly died, but lurked in the minds of a nation, twisting resentment into a blade aimed at the heart of innocence? In 1953, under the cloak of Operation Ajax, CIA shadows orchestrated the fall of Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh, reinstalling the Shah like a puppet on strings of oil and power. But those strings frayed over decades, breeding a paranoia that festered unseen, until it exploded in 1979. As I sifted through yellow declassified files and haunting survivor accounts, the Iran hostage crisis revealed itself not as mere politics, but a descent into collective madness, where every glance held suspicion, every silence screamed threat. The mind games began long before the embassy walls crumbled, in the fevered dreams of revolutionaries who saw American hands in every shadow. Tehran, 1979. The Shah's exile left a vacuum filled with Khomeini's unyielding gaze, his voice a siren call to the disillusioned. Carter's decision to admit the dying despot for treatment? It ignited hallucinations of conspiracy, whispers in the night that the U.S. plotted his return. Radical students, their thoughts poisoned by years of perceived betrayal, gathered in dim rooms, hearts racing with the thrill of impending chaos. What drove them wasn't just anger. It was a shared delusion, a psychological trap where history's wounds bled anew, the breach of sanity in vision. The embassy is a fragile bubble of normalcy, diplomats typing memos while outside, the air thickened with unspoken dread. On November 4th, 1979, the bubble burst. Students swarmed like apparitions, their chants a hypnotic drone that seeped into the minds of those inside. Blindfolds descended, plunging captives into a void where time dissolved. 66 Americans, now prisoners in their own psyches, felt the first cracks. Isolated, disoriented, the world reduced to the scrape of ropes on skin and the erratic breaths of unseen guards. This wasn't random fury, it was engineered torment. Khomeini's endorsement turned protest into siege, but the real horror lay in the uncertainty. Would mercy come, or execution? Early releases of 13 hostages, framed as compassionate, only amplified the paranoia for the remaining 52. Why them? What invisible criteria marked survival? Declassified CIA logs whisper of operatives like William Doherty, confined in solitary cells where walls seemed to pulse, echoing his own frantic thoughts. Mock trials unfolded in the dark, accusations of spying burrowing into minds like parasites, forcing confessions that blurred truth and fabrication. Fractured minds in the labyrinth, deep within the embassy's converted prisons. The psychological vice tightened. Hostages were shuffled blindly through corridors, each move a disorienting whirl that eroded reality. Guards played sadistic games, footsteps approaching then retreating, leaving victims to imagine the worst. A bullet, a blade, or endless nothing. Richard Queen's MS ravaged his body, but it was the isolation that clawed at his soul, symptoms mirroring the mental decay around him. Michael Matrinko endured beatings, yet the true agony was the interrogation rooms, where captors probed not just for secrets, but to unravel sanity, planting doubts that lingered like poison. Diaries smuggled out later reveal the inner turmoil. Donald Homan's hunger strike, a desperate bid for control in a world stripped of it, withheld letters from loved ones, fostering hallucinations of abandonment. 2 hostages teetered on suicide's edge, their minds fracturing under the weight of perpetual vigilance. Even the evaders, the 6 in Canadian hideouts, lived in suspended terror, every knock a potential betrayal. Their Canadian caper escape a high-wire act of forged identities amid paranoia that any slip could doom them all. For those drawn to these mind-bending dives into history's underbelly, a like and subscribe to Behind the Veil Truths keeps the suspense alive with every new uncover. Desert phantoms and shattered hopes. Washington's response, a cocktail of desperation and delusion. Operation Eagle Claw loomed like a fever dream. Helicopters hurtling through sandstorms, pilots' visions blurred by dust devils that whispered failure. The April 1980 crash, a blaze consuming lives, mirrored the hostages' inner infernos, amplifying global tension. Carter's psyche cracked too, Vance's resignation an echo of moral fracture. A second operation fizzled, haunted by the ghosts of the first. As Iraq's bombs fell in 1980, Khomeini wielded the hostages as mental shields, their fate intertwined with war's madness. Secret memos expose U.S. pleas to the Ayatollah, words laced with feigned calm over underlying panic. Days stretched into eternities, each negotiation a psychological chess match where trust was the ultimate illusion. The abyss stares back. In smoke-filled Algerian rooms, diplomats navigated a minefield of mines. Iran's demands for assets and non-interference clashed with American resolve, but beneath lay the October surprise specter, whispers of Reagan's shadow deals delaying freedom for political gain. Probes dismissed it, yet the release timing, post-inauguration, sowed seeds of doubt that bloom eternally. Hostages emerged shattered, parades masking PTSD that stalked them like unseen predators. Compensation in 2015, a hollow balm for psyches forever altered. Lingering shadows beyond the veil. The crisis forged an enduring chasm, sanctions and suspicions feeding a cycle of mutual paranoia that grips today. Yet in my digs through the archives, I uncovered not just breakage but twisted resilience, minds that bent but reformed, a revolution born from collective delusion. If these psychological thrills keep you on edge, liking and subscribing to Behind the Veil Truths unlocks more veils waiting to be torn. But as the freed hostages gazed from plane windows, a chilling realization dawned. Had they escaped the nightmare, or carried its essence home, seeding new horrors in the quiet corners of their thoughts? The mind's veil thins. What unspeakable truths lurk in the archives yet unexplored?